If you want to allow multiple users to access the same workbook, you'll need to know how to activate sharing and ultimately the ability to track changes by each user. And when we say open at the same time, we're also opening the door to the idea that people could be making changes to the same cells in approximately the same time frame. The feature called sharing in prior versions of Excel used to be found on the Review tab. And when you go to the Review tab in the ribbon, you don't see sharing, but you might see here, grayed out, Unshare Workbook. So how do we share a workbook? We need to add an icon to the Quick Access toolbar. On the right side of the Quick Access toolbar, and most people do keep this above the ribbon, there's a drop arrow. Slide down to More Commands. In this dialog box, choose commands from either commands not in the ribbon or all commands. Slide down into the letter S, and you'll see an option. Share Workbook. It's a legacy feature. We add it to the Quick Access toolbar. As we click OK, we'll see it at the top of the screen. Share Workbook so that others can work in it at the same time, and workbooks containing tables cannot be shared. Let's click this button. Use the old shared workbook features. Now there is a new feature that is available if you're using Excel for Office 365. Learn more about co-authoring. I'll just click this, and you might want to explore this on your own. A different way of collaboration, which ultimately might have some different features implemented than what we're about to see. It's called co-authoring. I'll close that dialog box for now. We're going to be using the old shared workbook feature. I have this open right now. At the time of this recording, it's August 6th. On the Advanced tab, we make some choices. Ultimately, we are setting this up so that we can track changes, not only by ourselves, but by others as well. Keep changes. We probably want to experiment with the time frame here. We don't have to keep the history. Update changes every few minutes or when the file is saved. Make some choices there. And some of these features will pan out as we work with the tracking feature in the next movie. Let's click OK. This action will now save the workbook. Do you want to continue? I'm going to click OK. Now, the name of this workbook as we opened it was called 11 Workbook Before Sharing. There's only one worksheet on it. We're looking at it. As I click OK, watch the top of the screen. We now see Workbook Before Sharing, but now it is shared. And by the way, a little side note on here. Even though this says shared, this could be a file that only you use. So why would you share it? You share it if you want to keep track of changes. So although it sounds somewhat contradictory and somewhat strange, sometimes you'll set up a file for sharing simply to be able later to track your own changes and nobody else's, because nobody else is using it. So it's a feature that sets the stage for the tracking capability, which we'll see in the next movie.